Chapter 67. True to his word, Tyler practically glued himself to Wednesday, metaphorically, at least, determined not to let her out of his sight. By the time she reached the cemetery, her patience had evaporated. "I can take care of myself, Tyler," she snapped, storming toward the iron gate. "I'm not saying you can't," he shot back, catching up. "I'm saying you shouldn't. Didn't you hear what Adele said? Every agent who investigated this case ended up dead, including my father." He caught her by the arm, his voice low and trembling with fury. "So help me, Wednesday, I'm not about to lose you too." Wednesday froze. His grip wasn't painful, just desperate. She wasn't trying to downplay the danger, she was trying to shield him from it. Both his parents had already been killed because of Willow Hill. She couldn't risk him joining them. Before either of them could speak again, a familiar voice drifted from behind the gravestones. "You two sound like an old married couple." They turned to find Grandmama Hester Frump leaning on her cane, eyes twinkling with mischief. "Grandmama," Wednesday said flatly, stepping back as Tyler quickly released her arm. Without another word, Wednesday picked up the sledgehammer she had brought and swung it against the old stone wall. Dust fell away, revealing a hidden funeral urn lodged inside. Grandmama waddled closer, plucked it from the hole, and inspected it. "Lumpy shell craftsmanship, I must say." She sniffed the rim, then handed it to Wednesday. Wednesday lifted it to her nose and inhaled. Her brows furrowed. "Animal remains," she murmured. Grandmama tilted her head. "Something missing?" "Human," Wednesday confirmed. Tyler blinked. "You're saying Willow Hill faked this person's death?" Wednesday turned to her grandmother. "I need you to buy this cemetery and find out who signed the cremation documents." Hester blinked at her, unimpressed. "No. Why would I do that?" "Because," Wednesday said calmly, "the moment Mother finds out you're finally letting me into the family business, all her childhood insecurities will come bubbling to the surface." A slow grin crept across Grandmama's wrinkled face. "You always know how to worm your way into my cold, decayed heart." As they started to leave, Tyler stiffened, a shadow swooped overhead. He felt the avian's presence before he saw it. Tossing aside his long trench coat, he transformed and sprinted after the hooded figure speeding away on a motorcycle. A split second later, the sky blackened with wings, a murder of crows diving down in a frenzy. Grandmama's butler wordlessly handed her a rifle. She raised it and fired once, the echo splitting the night. The birds scattered. Wednesday rushed to Tyler's side, draping his trench coat over his shoulders as he shifted back into human form, shivering and pale. "Next time," she said dryly, "warn me before you go full monster." Wednesday dragged Tyler back to her dorm room to treat his wounds, completely ignoring the scrunchie hanging from the doorknob. The moment she opened the door, both she and Tyler froze. Enid and Bruno were on the bed, very much occupied. "Wednesday. Didn't you see the scrunchie?" Enid squeaked, her face turning pink. "We saw it," Tyler said flatly, stepping inside. "We don't care." He sat on Wednesday's bed and peeled off his shirt, revealing fresh claw marks across his shoulders. Wednesday didn't flinch, she simply retrieved a small first aid kit filled with potions and salves. Enid and Bruno gawked. "What happened to you two?" they asked in unison. "We were attacked by a murder of crows," Wednesday replied coolly, dabbing a vial of green liquid onto a cotton pad. She pressed it to Tyler's wound, the gashes sealed instantly, leaving only faint lines. Enid blinked. "Why didn't you just go to your family's cottage? I'm sure you have medicine there too." "I'm not giving my mother another excuse to interfere with our investigation," Wednesday said, still focused on her task. Tyler glanced up from the bed, smirking. "Sorry for interrupting your makeout session, but at least we weren't taking photos for blackmail." He nodded toward Wednesday's desk. A rustling sound came from behind the bookshelves, and Agnes sheepishly revealed herself. Enid gasped. "How long have you been there?" Agnes mimicked Enid and Bruno's kissing noises dramatically. "Long enough to be emotionally scarred." Enid's claws extended instantly. I'm going to kill you. Bruno grabbed her wrist before she could lunge. Let's give them some space, he said quickly, dragging her out of the room. Once the door shut, silence settled again, just the faint hum of potion bottles and Tyler's quiet breathing. Agnes waited until Wednesday finished bandaging Tyler before stepping forward and handing her a sealed envelope. Wednesday opened it, glanced at the contents, and exhaled sharply through her nose, the closest thing she ever came to a sigh. Another rejection letter from the publishers. A few days later, Wednesday and Tyler met Uncle Fester in Nevermore's clock tower. The gears hummed around them, and dust motes spun like tiny planets. I need you to break into Willow Hill for me, Wednesday said without preamble. Fester rubbed his forehead. Why is everyone asking me the exact same thing, he snapped, irritation curling his words. Wednesday cocked an eyebrow. Who else asked? First Adele, Fester said, then you, and before that, your mother asked me to check up on her sister. He glanced at Tyler. Ophelia was there once, too. Aunt Ophelia? Wednesday repeated, surprised. Yeah, Fester said. But she'd flown the coop by the time I arrived. He reached out and delivered a tiny electrical shock to Agnes, who'd tried to creep up behind them. No one sneaks up on me, kid. Agnes winced and straightened. Is she with you? Fester asked, eyeing Wednesday. This is my stalker, Wednesday said dryly. I turned her into an expendable gopher. Her abilities might come in handy. If no one's aware of her presence, Tyler offered, that will help. Uncle Fester bristled. I'm very fine with child labor, but I've heard of chupacabras that make less noise than you. Try walking on the balls of your feet, Uncle Fester, not the floorboards. Thanks for the tip, Agnes said, amused. Agnes held out a folded packet. I took the liberty of getting you the Willow Hill blueprints. Wednesday accepted them, eyes scanning the diagrams. She looked up at Fester. Make sure Dr. Fairburn can't trace this back to us. Fester flashed a crooked smile. Don't worry. Adele already provided me with a new identity. We'll be invisible.